Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Hector Del Castillo, and I would like to welcome all of you to today's show, the Welbi on Kickstarter show. And before we get started, I want to just give a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, the audience is on listen only mode, and you can ask questions using the questions box in your console. And feel free to send questions because we will have a Q&A portion where we will be discussing any questions that the audience will be sending over our way. So I would encourage you to type any questions that you might have regarding today's topic. And today's topic is going to be quite simple. We're just going to have some updates and give some updates on some of the activities that we've been doing. Also, we are going to be looking at some of the information that we've been sharing with everyone regarding Welbi. And before we get started, I also want to thank Podcast Village, and they actually have been gracious. We partner with Podcast Village. We have been recording every single episode of our show, and we're recording video and podcast, and they're producing both so that we can share them with our followers on Kickstarter and also on other social media channels. So you can actually take a look on our Kickstarter page, content that has already been published, and you can actually view previous episodes, and you can view the video or listen to the podcast, whatever it is, it's already there on the Kickstarter page. So we encourage you to stop by our page and be able to take a look at some of the shows that we've had so far. So we're focusing this whole series on why Welbi. And Welbi is a device with an app, and it's a solution for family caregivers who care deeply about elder relatives who they want to be able to keep track of their well-being of. There's more information about Welbi, not just on the Kickstarter page, but also on our website, which is mywelbi.com. And I will be typing in that information also via chat so that you don't have to type it in manually. You can just cut and paste from the chat window. I'm actually sending out the information to everyone via our chat window. You know that Welbi is a solution for family caregivers, and family caregivers are the ones that you are currently struggling because you have relatives like an aging mother who is mostly home alone. Or perhaps you're stressed because you are caring for your grandmother and she's homebound and may have some people coming in and out of the house, but mostly is by herself and doesn't have the means to go anywhere else. Or perhaps you're worried about your aging father. You're stressed because he needs help, and often you need to sort of be proactive to kind of find out what help he is going to need before he needs it. And if you're in any of these scenarios, you're a family caregiver. And there's more information regarding Welbi and its applications on our Kickstarter page. And the Kickstarter information and the page is, the short URL is at the bottom of this slide. I'm also going to be typing it in to the chat so that you can actually capture this information and not have to type it in manually. So you can go visit our Kickstarter page directly if you have not already done so. And as I mentioned earlier, my name is Hector Del Castillo. I'm Chief Technology Officer at vSense Medical Devices. I'm going to be giving you some updates regarding Welbi and its applications and how we came up with this, and also share some of the comments that we've been hearing and answer any questions that the audience might have during the Q&A portion. So feel free to type in your questions using the questions box, because this entire time, if you're just joining us, you're on listen only mode, and you can actually ask questions using the questions box in your console. So who is a family caregiver? That's a question I often get asked. And here's a definition from organizations like AARP. A family caregiver is a person who provides any type of physical or emotional care for an ill or disabled loved relative at home. And furthermore, loved ones can be people who need care but may not have necessarily the means to pay for those services or the care that they need. Often they have some physical or mental or some sort of disability or challenge, often require a lot of care, more than a regular person, a regular adult. And if you're in this situation, there's a whole range of family caregivers that are in the area in this. We're specifically looking at family caregivers who have aging relatives that they are caring for. And today we know that most aging seniors, and we define aging seniors as anyone who is 75 years and older living in the US, who needs some sort of care because of aging or because of any of these challenges. And often they rely on unpaid family and friends to provide that care that they need and that they rely on unpaid friends and family to provide that care. So that is the definition of a family caregiver. And this definition is much broader. We're specifically looking at the solution for family caregivers who have aging relatives who are mostly home alone and they're providing in-home care that they need. And because of that, they're stressed. They're sometimes struggling to figure out how to do it better. And they're also very time constrained because family caregivers are often adults. They have their own families and they have their own responsibilities financially as well as emotionally. They have their own families to take care of. And they're still very stressed because they have other relatives that they're caring for that need their help. And this is something that actually AARP has shared a lot of information about. For those of you who are not familiar, AARP is a member-based organization. It's based out of the US, and today they have about 34 million members, and their members is anyone who is 50 years or older. And this is a tweet they sent out earlier today. And what it implies is that family caregivers are very time constrained because they're doing lots of different things. They work, they care for their own families, but they're also then caring for aging relatives who are relying on them for help. And therefore, trying to get time for themselves is a challenge. And what we believe is that Welbi will be helping them in at least maintain peace of mind because they know that even though they're not directly in touch with their aging relative, by placing this device, and they can actually track their well-being at the moment or look at the history using their mobile device to be able to find out, how's my mom doing or how's my grandfather doing. And that's the problem that we're solving for family caregivers who are taking care of aging elder relatives. And there's more information on AARP website regarding all sorts of different things that today family caregivers and the issues, and not just the elder relatives who are being cared for, but also what the family caregivers are going through. A lot more information on AARP regarding the kinds of situations that they go through. And also, I wanted to announce that we actually had this article published on the 5th of September. It came out on Fast Company. And the short URL here actually provides you more information, and you can actually read this particular article by following the short URL at the bottom of the slide. And I'm actually typing it into the chat window right now so that you don't have to type it all in. You can just cut and paste and be able to read this article on your own time later on when you have some time. But we're very grateful for Fast Company to actually mentioning this, and it really has brought us a lot of backers, a lot of supporters, a lot of advocates, and this is the kind of response, that positive response that we were looking for, and that we know that there is a solution out there for the people who are actually looking for this type of solution. And we're actually entering the Q&A portion. So I'd like to remind the audience, if you can type in your questions, I will get to them as time permits, and we'll take them from the very top. This kind of summarizes everything that I had for today, but I also want to focus mostly on answering questions from the audience as we go through. And as I wait for questions to be typed in, what I wanted to let you know is upcoming activities. And the first one is that we're actually having upcoming demos. And here's the demos that we have for the rest of this month. The next one is tomorrow, Wednesday, September 20th. And this is a live event. This is at National Harbor in the DC area. But we have a special announcement and great news. If you're unable to attend the live demo, or if you're far away because you're not in the DC metro area, you can actually attend the live event because we'll be casting it live simultaneously as we are doing the live demo. We'll be casting it live, and all you have to do is sign up at the time, which is 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, so that you can actually join us, and we'll be streaming video of the entire demo so that you can actually view it even though you're not there with us. And we're also going to be recording a video out of that, and we're sharing that with everyone so you can actually view that afterwards if you need to. We'll also be over at the Philadelphia Tech Breakfast later on this month on the 28th. And that's those both are morning things. They're free to attend. All you have to do is sign up. So if you click through the short URLs, you can actually RSVP for each of these events. We'll also be announcing information through updates on our Kickstarter page so that you know exactly how to join and how to RSVP for any of these events. And I want to break and continue with a question. And the first question that I have is, what is the range of the system? What is the range of Welbi? And actually, we've decided to cover an average size room. And actually, the original system that we licensed from Caltech Jet Propulsion Laboratory actually is a much bigger system and covers an entire city block, because this particular device was originally, the technology behind this device was originally developed and tested in search and rescue operations. And so the original device can cover an entire block, and it can actually start seeing through rubble because the signal can bounce through rubble and find heartbeats when you can't see anything, when there's total devastation in front of you. And what we've done is we made the device now, we've improved on that technology. We made a device that is smaller, lighter, and also has a lower range so that it can cover an average size room within any home. And really the application is that you can place this device in any room of an aging relative. You can quickly register through your mobile app the device so you can actually start receiving it and start controlling and managing the information and the flow of information that it's sharing with you. And then you can then keep track of the well-being of your relative remotely through your mobile application. And the device itself is designed such that there's no interaction. It's completely unobtrusive. It requires no leads, no contacts, no wires, no straps. And as long as you're within proximity and it is smart enough to understand when somebody is within proximity, it will start collecting information and then sending it up to the cloud. And then you can actually view it on your mobile app whenever you have a need for that. It will also provide you notifications and alerts in case something is out of normal and may require your attention. And that is the value that we're providing, is that we're allowing family caregivers to remotely track the well-being of aging elder relatives. So thank you for the question. That was a great question, and one that we often get asked in different venues, whether we're doing demos or pitches. That's one common question, and that information is also more details of how the technology and how the device works. They're available on our Kickstarter page. And as we wait for the next question, I also want to let you know that you can follow us on Kickstarter, and the short URL is here. I shared that with you earlier via chat, so you don't have to type it in. All you have to do is just be able to browse the information. You can follow us on Kickstarter. You can also visit our website, and both URLs are shown in here. And if you have any specific needs because you're caring for an elder relative, I would like to ask you, reach out to us, because we'd like to know how we can help. And if there's any additional functionality or features that we can add to our solution to make it much more better for family caregivers and help you maintain your confidence and peace of mind. And we have a next question. So before we go any further, I want to get into this question. And the question is, so what will happen if you don't reach your goals on Kickstarter? And actually, this is our first Kickstarter. And we actually, before we actually started launching this campaign, we actually took a look at several other crowdfunding platforms that are out there. And we really liked Kickstarter because it was really easy for us to work with the people, and their vetting process, we believe is really the right thing for them to implement, because there's been a lot of other crowdfunding platforms that allow people to make claims that are not really realistic, and it's just almost like selling vaporware. And we didn't want to be dealing with those types of situations. So we actually went through and started looking at all the different requirements of choosing a specific crowdfunding platforms, and we really like the process that Kickstarter has implemented to ensure that everybody who gets on board on Kickstarter actually has a product. And once we went through that process, we launched the campaign, and we've been actually doing quite well. And we sort of had to slow down a little bit. Right now, we're looking at options to continue to kind of accelerate the process. But for us, it's really about testing the market, really finding out if there are enough family caregivers out there who actually would want to have a solution like the one we're proposing, and also really evaluate whether there's anything else that we're missing. And so far, through the series of demos that we've been seeing and the feedback that we've been collecting from demos and from backers and supporters and advocates that have been coming to us since we launched this campaign, it really has allowed us to learn a lot of different things. But the main thing is that we are hearing a lot of very positive response to Welbi. And we want to make sure that if we don't make it on Kickstarter, that we actually are starting to implement our next campaign on a different crowdfunding platform. So stay tuned for more news, because those of you who really are looking to pre-buy this device so that we can deliver it to you at some point later, we will be announcing to you other alternatives if we don't make our goals on Kickstarter. But so far, we're going to continue all of our activities that we've announced so far, and the demos and the shows will continue throughout the campaign. And I welcome all of you to continue to join us, and also invite anyone else who might have a need or who might be a family caregiver that might see the value. Invite them to join us, to follow us on Kickstarter, to visit our website and join us at a future show. So great question, and thank you very much for asking that question. And we will continue. We really think the value for us is really more about really looking at the feedback and making sure that we have everything that is needed in order to have a great solution and get adoption in our solution once we start selling the Welbi and its application. And I would like to actually make a request that if you have been sort of waiting and not making a decision, you're following us on Kickstarter and you're not really sure, I invite you to either pledge or pre-buy a device, because it is working. It is going to be available. The device is already done, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, I have it right here, and I want to show that. It's right here. This is the device. It's a handheld device. It's about the size of a smartphone. Here's my Android phone, and you can actually see that the device next to it, and you see that it's pretty much the same size as a smartphone, and it's got a stand, so you can place it on top of any cabinet or any table, or maybe in a corner somewhere. And all you do is just aim it in the general direction of where the most everyone is in the room, and you'll be able to collect information automatically once you register your device and turn it on. So this is what we're actually demoing tomorrow, and you'll see the live demo if you join us. And you can either join us live, or you can join the live webcast, and it's the same channel that we're going to be using to do the live casting, same channel as for this show. So if you're already signed up, all you have to do is just sign in, and you'll be able to watch the demo live tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern Time. And more information on our Kickstarter page. And again, I'd like to ask either give a pledge or pre-buy our device and send us more information if you have any questions. And the other thing is, I also wanted to share with you upcoming shows. Welbi on Kickstarter is a show that we started at the beginning of the campaign, and we're doing this twice a week. And we're doing this same time, same channel. If you sign up once, you can attend any of them live. And if you don't attend live any of them, if you missed any of the shows, you will automatically receive notification where you can watch the video or listen to the podcast, because thanks to Podcast Village, we're actually recording everything so that we can share it with you, so that even if you're not able to attend a live show, you can always watch it or listen to it afterwards on your own time. And you can use the URL at the bottom of this page to actually sign up if you have not already done so. And feel free to share this with anybody else who might be interested in asking questions, learning more about our device, our solution, and why we launched a Kickstarter campaign for Welbi. And I'm typing in via the chat the short URL that is at the bottom of this slide, so that you don't have to type it in. You can just cut and paste and then sign up. And as I mentioned, all you have to do is sign up once, and you'll be able to get reminders for upcoming shows, but also get reminders when the video or the podcast are available for you to watch or listen to. So without further ado, I'm looking to see if there's any more questions, and I don't see any more questions. So this is it. I wanted to thank all of you for attending today's show, and feel welcome to attend the next ones. The next one will be this Thursday, September 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can either join us live or you can watch the video or podcast after the show and send us your questions. You can send your updates or questions via Kickstarter, and we'll be watching that. We're watching that page so that we can actually ask those questions and actually answer those questions during the shows throughout the campaign. So thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you again, same time, same channel, next Thursday. Take care.